When animals and humans dance in divine harmony, journey into the heaven we share. On April 3, 2008, while doing my usual chores, I suddenly felt intense pain in my abdomen. It started mildly but quickly became unbearable. Next thing I knew, I was in a hospital room with my husband and a doctor explaining that I had acute appendicitis. My appendix had gotten infected or blocked, causing severe pain. The doctor urgently recommended surgery to avoid complications. Though I was anxious, the doctor assured me it was a routine procedure with minimal risks. The surgery went well initially, but during recovery, they found an infection in the wound, leading to a second surgery due to staph bacteria complications. During the second surgery, I faced challenges. Despite being under anesthesia, I could hear sounds around me, including discussions about my family. This caused confusion and anger. Most of my body was invaded by staph bacteria, making it complex to eliminate completely. Waking up in the intensive care unit, I found my family gathered around me, their faces filled with sadness. Unable to communicate due to an oxygen tube in my throat, I wished to reassure them that I felt fine. The doctor discussed the severity of the situation with my family, indicating potential brain damage. As the staph infection spread, the doctors considered antibiotic treatment, explaining the associated risks. My family, unable to stay overnight, left the hospital with heavy hearts. I experienced discomfort in my throat and tried to convey it to the nurse, but communication was challenging. 2 hours later, a nurse mentioned leaving briefly to pick up her daughter from school. Subsequently, I struggled to breathe as the tube became blocked, hindering oxygen flow to my lungs. I had no way to call out loud, my body squirmed, and I couldn't do anything. A few seconds felt like hours. Just at the same time, the alarm sounded. A large group of doctors and nurses entered my room. I heard their panicked screams. They were calling for a team of specialists. They seemed to be shouting like madmen. I could hear everything, but I couldn't breathe anymore. The doctor put some fluid in a tube to try to suck out the phlegm. I stopped breathing, and my heart stopped beating. Then I left my body. When I opened my eyes again, I saw myself floating in the air in my hospital gown. I now felt very relaxed, and the pain was gone. I could see my body, and many doctors were surrounding it. Suddenly, I felt a mysterious force descending from above. It was coming closer and closer to me and seemed to be taking me out of this world. I felt very scared and didn't know what to do. I kept resisting because I didn't want to leave my family and my body. I was afraid that if this force took me away, I would never come back. But the power was too strong. All my resistance was useless. Eventually, I gave up and realized that I was going to leave this world. Finally, I was taken away by this force. I started a wonderful journey. I saw a very huge tree, the top of which I could not see. The tree shone with dazzling light. There were many small animals around the tree, and they were getting along in harmony. I felt a peace here, and they radiated a kind of love I had never felt before. Their voices penetrated my soul. I continued to float upward, and my body became more and more relaxed. This relaxation was not only external but also internal. More wildlife appeared before my eyes. It was the first time I saw so many wild animals at the same time. They were very different from the animals on Earth, and their colors were different. They were all very friendly, as if we knew each other. I continued to walk forward. I saw a lot of children. They had different skin colors and came from different areas. Each one was unique and beautiful. At the same time, everyone was happy, and every child had a smile on their face. They were playing and running in the fields. I looked in the direction they were running and saw a beautiful garden. There was a huge fountain in the center of the garden. I walked toward the garden, and on the way, I saw many people, teenagers and middle-aged people. I saw harmony and happiness. People were smiling, and I felt the power of love. Around the fountain, there were flowers of all colors. People were sitting around, talking and smiling with each other. It was as if they were communicating with their consciousness. Some people were reading books in the garden. Here, I did not feel uncomfortable or hurt in any way. I suddenly thought of my parents and husband. I knew they were suffering now. I stopped worrying when I thought that they would also come here later. I continued a little further and could see a large group of old people. The old people were smiling and all looked very energetic. They were walking in a garden full of flowers with a beautiful river next to them. Suddenly, I saw a light in the distance. Could this be my final destination? The closer I got to it, the stronger the love I felt. The light seemed to be calling to me, telling me that it was my final destination. I slowly approached the light and felt its warmth and peace. I felt myself surrounded by it as if I had merged into its embrace. The light brought me a feeling I had never felt before, an overwhelming purity of love and peace. I felt my soul become lighter and freer. This beautiful place made me feel overwhelmed with happiness and contentment. I'm grateful for the mysterious force that led me here and made me feel this wonderful sensation. I felt a hand touching the top of my head. In this moment, I was overwhelmed with intense love. I heard a gentle voice saying, "Stay calm. You can't stay here yet." I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask, but in this moment, I started my journey home. I thought, am I only going back in this rough way? The experience was so beautiful. I saw myself in a hospital bed, and the doctors were resuscitating me. I knew that this mysterious force was still with me and made me feel a love and peace like I had never felt before. But I didn't want to go back into my body yet. Suddenly, the voice sounded again, this time more clearly and firmly. He told me, "I have too much to do. Too many people need me." I realized that I could not just leave this world, that my mission was not yet complete. The mysterious force eventually sent me back into my body, and I felt a sharp pain. When I opened my eyes, I saw many doctors surrounding me. I felt a lot of heat in my chest. At this moment, I started to shout, "No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back." No one heard me. I was desperate because I didn't want to stay here. I slowly fell asleep. It was as if no one cared about what I wanted. Everyone wanted to take me back to this place of pain. During the time I was gone, my heart stopped beating. The doctor did not give up on me. After a long time, I regained my heartbeat. A doctor stayed with me all night. At first, I felt confused and disoriented. I blamed the doctor for bringing me back. Several hours passed before I gradually came to my senses. It was then that I slowly came to terms with what had happened. I told the doctor about my experience. After hearing my story, he was silent for a while. Then he began to tell me some stories about near-death experiences. He said that these experiences are not rare, and many people have similar ones. He told me that this mysterious force could be a belief or faith deep inside me. He asked if I had any religious beliefs, and I said I did not. I began to wonder if I should seek a faith to help me understand this experience. The doctor told me that faith can help people be stronger in the face of death and hardship. After hearing the doctor's words, I felt much more relaxed. I returned home with mixed emotions. On one hand, I was thankful to be back home with my husband and family. On the other hand, confusion lingered because I couldn't explain the scenes I had experienced. When I tried to tell my husband about the light and power I had seen and felt, he dismissed it, attributing it to a hallucination during surgery. He hugged me and reassured me, saying, "Honey, it was probably just a hallucination. Don't worry too much about it." I understood his skepticism. After all, it was a strange and unexplainable experience. Sitting on my bed, I kept replaying the experience in my mind. I vividly remembered the voice telling me that I still had much to do and that many people needed me. Reflecting on the meaning and purpose of that voice, I sought insight from it. Despite my husband's disbelief, I had no doubt about the authenticity of the experience. I knew it was real, not a hallucination or a drug side effect. I'm convinced that this experience will profoundly impact my life for years to come. Feeling grateful to be alive and having the opportunity to do something important, I believe I should cherish this opportunity and strive to live a meaningful life.